Welcome back to another episode of BodyMore Bottles with me, Von Zarelli, aka Justin Intoxicated, aka Brew Out Sender, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, aka Micro Brew McIntyre. It's still March. It's still Women's History Month. But it's being possibly the last show that I'm going to record in this month, I got two women I want to highlight tonight. The first is Jackie Zykin. She's the master taster of Old Forest Brewery. She's been a master taster of that company for about the last 6 years. She majored in biology. While working through college, she was a bartender. She moved to Louisville, got the job with Old Forester, and worked her way up to becoming the master taster. What she does is she travels around the world. She tastes bourbon, and at Old Forester and Brown-Forman, which is the parent company of Old Forester, she tastes different bourbons at different states of maturity to do basically quality control. She recently came out with her own bourbon, which is called the 117 series, named after the spot where Old Forester originally was distilled and now currently distilled again. It's basically barrels that have heavy angel share. What the angel share of bourbon is when you put the bourbon in the barrels, it loses about maybe 10%, 30 to 30%, I say, to what they call the angel share, which is basically evaporation. So what she did was she took barrels that lost a lot of liquid inside due to evaporation, tasted them, blended the best ones together to make this first version in the 117 series. That's going to be coming out soon. I suggest if you find it, you grab it. Our second woman that we have here is Grace Mahari. What she is a wine sommelier. But before she was a sommelier, she's a Canadian model. She's worked for she's walked the runway for over 200 companies, from Givenchy to Fendi. In her sommelier class, she's only one of 5 that passed out of a class of 17. And out of that class of 17, she was the only woman of color to pass. During that summer of her exams, she pulled out of all her runway jobs to study and to focus on becoming a sommelier. During Fashion Week, she only worked during the weekends. And that happened to be the week before her finals, and she still passed. So she put in a lot of work and a lot of studying to make sure she achieved her goals. What happened with her was she took a trip to Rethia and basically found out that the drink of choices there were either beer or sweet wines to balance out the spiciness of the food there. And when she came back, she realized that when you get handed a wine list, it's kind of hard to pick. Basically, what she's trying to do is bridge the gap between people of color and being able to enjoy a nice beverage. So we want to give a shout out to Jackie Zahan and Grace Mahari, both women, outstanding women in the spirit industry during Women's History Month. Salute to y'all. Last week, instead of doing St. Patrick's Day episode, because around that time you could go anywhere and find some St. Patrick's Day stuff, so I did a 316 episode. This week we're going to do the St. Patrick's Day episode for y'all. It's a little late, but Today we got everything Irish for my homies over there in Ireland. Let's get it started. First thing we got, Smithwicks Red Ale. Smithwicks and Sons from Ireland, Irish made. A ruby red brew with a gentle hop bitterness and a sweet malt finish. 4.5% alcohol by volume. On the back, Smithwicks has been brewing in Ireland for over 300 years. Like the castle at the heart of Kilkenny, where Smithwicks was founded, our brews have stood the test of time. This ruby red brew earned its rightful place as Ireland's most loved ale. Now brewed in Dublin, this red ale has a blend of mild hops, sweet malt, and roasted barley. Now, I know most people, you think of St. Patrick's Day, what we're going to drink beer-wise, Guinness. Nah, I'm not going there. We're going with Smithwick's Red Ale today. Been around for 300 years. Why not? Let's pop that cork. Ooh. You can already see the carbonation on there. Let's get a little better pour so y'all can see. You can see it's a good carbonation, nice head on it. Very dark in color. Dark copper color. Y'all can't tell from that angle, but I can tell from here. It's a dark copper. That's why it's a red ale. Let's get a nose. Yeah, I'm just getting the flavor of an ale coming through. Very malty, I would say. Let's get a taste. Not very complex on the smell. Yeah, just malt. It's not too complex. Very smooth, good taste to it. A little bit of an aftertaste. A little bit of bitterness on it. Little, not really caramel, but I taste a little caramelization in there. Maybe that's from the roasted hops, whatever it is on there. Yeah, the roasted barley. Maybe that's what it is. You know, like they put fire or something like that. They cook something up on there. I can taste it. A little bit of bitterness back there. It's good. I drink that over that Guinness stout or the draft or whatever it is. I pick the Smithwicks over that any day. It's an everyday drink, I would say. I give that 3.25 on the BodyMore body scale. Now this next beer that we got up, a little twist on the Irish staple. I had this beer for maybe about 2 years now. Just one of those beers that you know that I like, and I put it in the stash. This one's been sitting, like I said, since about 2019. And it would still be sitting if it wasn't for me having this show. So I'm going to bring it here and give y'all a little taste of it. Guinness Open Gate Brewery Stock Ale, aged in Bullet Bourbon Barrels. 10% alcohol by volume. Guinness Brewery. It's from the Guinness Brewery here in Baltimore, Maryland. The only Guinness brewery in America. This stock ale is a blend of Imperial Stout and barley wine ale, both aged in bullet bourbon barrels. Roasty and chocolatey with notes of sweet dark fruit. Anytime you see something that says Imperial in front of the beer name, that means basically that it's going to be high in alcohol content. And it's an Imperial Ale, Imperial Stout. That basically means just a stout with a high alcohol content. Barley wine ale is just a different type of beer. Let's pop the cork on this one. Like I said, this one's been sitting since 2019. About a year and a half, 2 years already. So let's see if it still holds up. As you can see, the carbonation is still there. For it to be a sitting, it's still holding up. Very dark in color. You can't see through that. Ooh, very aromatic. It's just like a punch in the face when you try to smell that. Yeah, very dark fruit, dark cherries. Maybe some plum. A little bit of coffee I can smell. Nah, that's chocolate. That's chocolate. Like some dark chocolate, some cocoa even. Just get a taste. See if it's the taste. You can see those bubbles sticking to the glass. Let's get a taste. Very chocolatey on the palate. It tastes like those little dark chocolate Ghirardelli squares. You eat one of those. That's what this is. A very dark chocolate bomb in here. I get a little bit of that cherry. Not too bitter. A little bit of bite from that being aged in the bullet bourbon. I get a little bit of that booziness, that bourbon flavor from it, but not too much to overpower the stout. You're not gonna find this. Like I said, I've been having this sitting for about 2 years. You're not gonna find this, but if they bring it back, I suggest you go get it. It's heavy on the alcohol content for a beer, 10%. So don't play around with it if you do find something of its equivalency. I get at a 4.5 out of 5. I like it a lot. You see, I done kept it around for so long. It wouldn't be open right now if it wasn't for this review right here. I think I'm going to save that for the last thing that I'm going to finish tonight. Now on to the last thing that we're going to review here today. An Irish whiskey from West Cork. Limited release Irish whiskey. Black Reserve. You couldn't see all the fine print on there, so let me dictate that to y'all right now. a limited release of Irish whiskey finished in double charred bourbon cask. That's two things we got here tonight, finished in bourbon barrels. I'm a bourbon guy, so all this is straight up my alley. A delicate blend of hand-selected grain and malt Irish whiskey finished in double charred first fill bourbon cask to deliver enhanced vanilla smoothness with a well-rounded lingering sweetness. A delicate blend of hand-selected grain and malt Irish whiskey finished in double charred first fill bourbon cask to deliver a well-enhanced vanilla and smoothness. A delicate blend of hand-selected grain and malt Irish whiskey finished in double charred first fill bourbon cask to deliver enhanced vanilla and smoothness with a well-rounded lingering sweetness. Kobe. Oh, that sounds good to me. You can already see from St. Paddy's Day, I indulged just a tad bit. Oh, damn. Did you see that? I broke the cork off. How does something like that happen? All that means is tonight this bottle will have to get bodied. I don't make the rules, I just follow them. Let's give us a pour. Nice golden color there. When it comes to Irish whiskey, the first thing that's going to come to your mind is probably Jameson or what's the other one? Tullamore. I don't know. But Jameson's probably the first one that comes to my mind. Bushmill. And that's why I didn't go with that one or any of those today. I went with this one, as well as it being aged in bourbon barrels. But it has a nice golden color there. Let's get a nose on this one. A lot of vanilla coming through. Getting a little bit of fruitiness. Maybe some white grapes. It's not too heavy. Just getting a lot of vanilla coming through on the nose. Only one thing to do now. A little vanilla on the palate. I can't really pinpoint whatever flavors I'm getting in there. A little bit of heat. A little bit of fruitiness. Not too much, but just a little bit. It's solid. I would get it over Jameson, but that's just because that's just the contrarian in me, just being different. But if you like Jameson, you would like it. I suggest you try it at least once. I wouldn't say go searching for it or get it that over what you going in the store to go get if you see it. But if you just want to be experimental, It's worth a shot. About half the bottle will do you right. I'm not a big guy. Half the bottle had me smacked. So 43% alcohol by volume. That's 86 proof. Had me where I needed to be for St. Paddy's Day. Half the bottle. So I suggest you give it a try one day. I give it a solid 3.25 out of 5 on the BodyMore Bottle scale. That's the end of this episode. The St. Patrick's Day edition. A little bit late, but better late than never, right? You can follow me at Vonzarelli on all your social media platforms. Follow the show page at BodyMore Bottles everywhere. Y'all stay safe out there. Drink responsibly. And don't forget, body those bottles. Get them done. Peace.